to the CGA Gaming Podcast, episode number 2.
It's great to have you, man. Really excited to get into some deep conversations.
BigVerb runs Vengeful Gaming, a gaming organization. And tell us a little bit about Vengeful Gaming.
Absolutely. Well, first off, thank you for having me. I appreciate the invite onto the podcast. Vengeful Gaming is at the moment a group of content creators, kind of small, not big, kind of people who more were looking to get started. I found a group of guys. I started with a group of 4 guys that were kind of a group of players that played together. And I had them all join at the same time. They all kind of had the same goals, but didn't really have the direction. And coming from like a business background, and I've done my research just with Twitch and all that, I kind of stepped in and offered them that to where I think I started, in beginning of April with them. They were all console players. Nobody was streaming, where now five out of the 6 of them are on PC now. Kind of sat down them, kind of break down how parts and all the pricing works. Got a lot of them on PC. They're all affiliate. All of them have over 200 to 300 followers now. They're all actively streaming 3 to 4 days a week. They all have active Instagrams now, active YouTubes and TikToks as well. I'm a little older than probably most people you'll interview. You know, I'm 28. So I kind of started Vengeful Gaming because it's way too late for me to be a pro player. So my goal, I looked as I wanted to help people get to that place of opportunity that wasn't available when I was a gamer young. And sometimes it's hard to get that direction where you want to go with that. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
You can't just Google it. It's not, there's no blueprint. You know, it's very confusing, honestly.
Yeah.
What was that moment though, why'd you start the organization? Was there someone that you were watching? Was, what inspired you to kind of make that move where you're like, hey, I can make an organization and help these gamers improve their outlook and their public facing image, and how they operate themselves to become the level that they want to be. But like, what really inspired you? Like, was there someone you look up to in the scene?
Sure. Actually, what inspired me, just years of being in kind of different businesses and investing. I never invested or put time into anything I was really passionate about. I was always kind of financially and numbers driven. If it made money, it made sense. You know what I mean? So I never followed passions. It was kind of, all my passions were just hobbies and stuff like that. So kind of the end of last year, I decided, hey, and I'm not going to dump a bunch of money into it, but I'm going to give this a little try. And definitely have the trials and errors and finding out what works and what doesn't. But, before I actually started Vengeful Gaming, I was actually going to start managing music artists with a buddy. We were about to start a management company for music artists, but he kind of fell through and some things didn't work out with him. And we just didn't end up doing it. So I kind of took a lot of that and applied it to gaming. You know what I mean? So kind of the same idea to a certain degree. Just kind of different elements, but to a certain degree, they're pretty similar, honestly. You're putting out content, there's products. I mean, it's all kind of the same thing, just different, audience really.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So you there was simply a technical motivation for you. There wasn't like someone you had watched on Twitch or on YouTube that you were like, or an organization that you followed that was like, hey, I want to kind of like model what I want to do after them. Like it was really just kind of individually driven from a different horizontal industry. That's
100%. Cool. For the most part, I mean, once I started it, I kind of obviously did some research on what, orgs and stuff are doing. So I didn't go too like wrong pathway. 100 Thieves was definitely a little inspiring for me. I definitely relate to Nadeshot a lot. His story was definitely inspiring. Kind of felt a little connected to him. So, I mean, you can definitely probably see a little resemblance in certain things we do as far as merch and stuff compared to 100 Thieves, because I think they took the merch route beautifully. And I think that's kind of a rising thing in esports is fashion. And I think it's kind of, people don't realize that, these gamers, they're not, stay at home all day and don't leave the house. I think that stereotype is so dead now to where you have these people who want to be fashionable. They do have a life actually outside of gaming. You know what I mean? They go to the clubs, they go out, they want to take pictures in the new Yeezys and stuff like that. So
yeah, man, gamers got swag. You can't.
For sure.
I think that's really underrated on kind of the stereotype of gamers. Because if you go on Twitch, that stereotype just dies immediately. You know what I mean? But to the public, more outside the industry, that's just not the case.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. That's actually one of the reasons why that we sort of put out this Gaming in Shape post every week. You know, try to, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's definitely just to change that stereotype, right? Like gamers are changing, the industry is changing, and all that change is happening like right now in the moment. So it's good to stay on top of that and just kind of see that they're not that old stereotype anymore. So yeah, that's great. So what's something unique, you know? Oh, go ahead, sorry.
So I have seen your health posts and I love those. I think
Awesome.
that's a very big thing that's not talked about. There's there's just not a lot of information, or you're going to find that stuff on gaming pages. So I actually love that you guys put that out, because I think it's really positive information. And I think it'll have gamers kind of looking at it like, oh, you know, that's a good idea. Because deep down, everyone does want to be healthy. Everyone does want to be in shape. It's just that lack of motivation sometimes. And when you're in a computer chair all day, you don't think about working out.
Exactly. So,
but I love that. That's a good thing you guys are doing, man.
Thank you. Yeah. And as we move forward, we're definitely trying to collaborate with more people who are into exercise or physical activity. You know, they can also be into gaming. That would be a great plus, but they don't have to be. We're just trying to collaborate with people out there so that we can get some of these gamers some cool ways or methods to stay in shape, you know, while, you know, because you can, last week in our interview with KG, he mentioned it's good to have sort of like a hobby outside of gaming as well, because it keeps you kind of refreshed and not kind of glued to the screen the whole day. And so, yeah, if we can collaborate with people that way and sort of move forward with this, we definitely want to. So definitely keep your eye out for that. We're going to definitely have more of those.
Yeah, no, something I do.
BigVerb, you mentioned to me a while ago that you had some CSGO experience. I don't recall, did you play pro, or were you just extremely competitive in that scene?
Oh, I definitely wasn't pro. I'll give you a little background. A little different than most people. I grew up like a PC gamer. I had 4 older brothers and 2 of them were gamers. And like I was playing Counter-Strike in, like, it sounds crazy, but like 3rd, 4th grade. And when they would upgrade, I got their kind of, you know, old Dell. And so like 5th grade, I had like my own little old Dell that I would play Counter-Strike on. I definitely played really competitive.
The floppy disk,
yeah, 100%, 100%. Just the classic Dell with like maybe a 14-inch monitor, you know, with the like pulled out keyboard where you put it, you know. Okay. Definitely way back in the day. But yeah, just super competitive, because, you know, back when I was growing up, unless you just knew the right people or really researched it, you never really heard about tournaments. I had some LAN centers like by me that I would go do tournaments at and stuff. But other from that, just Cal used to be a really big thing in Counter-Strike, and I was involved with that league in quite a few teams. But like I said, back then, I mean, if you weren't the top, you know, not even 1%, it's like 0.02%. I mean, there was no future game. You know what I mean? It was like you had to be LeBron of the game to do anything, you know.
But it does give you a kind of like, you know, you position yourself as a little bit of an outsider, but you've always loved gaming, it seems like it's something that you've always been into, right?
Oh, 100%. And all games, you know, I played World of Warcraft from like when it first came out in 2006 to I still play it every now and then. I've played just about, honestly, most PC games that have came out probably in the last 15 years, to be honest.
That's awesome. And when you have your roster of content creators and gamers for Vengeful Gaming, do you have an idea of the games that they need to be playing? Do you care? Are you looking for just competitive players? You know what? Yeah.
I'm looking for a mix of both. Ideally, you kind of want a content creator and a competitive player, in my opinion. I think that's just a great combination. And I think it sets them up a foundation where I think I think being a competitive player is great, but it kind of limits them, where the only way they're ever going to make money or really get a fan base is if they're just so elite that they're hard to go unnoticed, you know?
Yeah.
Where if you're a content creator, you just have a whole other fan base that just likes you and likes watching you play video games. And that's your YouTube content. That's your, you know, your TikTok content. And that's, I think that streams some money, even if it's small at first, that a lot of gamers miss out on. So I do encourage content creating, even if you only want to do comp, just because if you really want to do this, you need to start setting that business foundation early.
Yeah, and as there are more like content creators coming out, like you said, you know, just being a competitive player isn't, you know, doesn't bring in a lot of money and doesn't give you that large fan base that being a content creator adds on. So what would you recommend to content creators who are starting out, like how to set themselves apart to be unique? Because there are so many, like in the sea of content creators today, you know, how do you recommend people in Vengeful Gaming to sort of stand out?
Yeah, you know, it's a broad question because I think each individual has a different answer. You know what I mean? I think it really about kind of knowing yourself, watching your content. You know, I have some people who aren't, you know, the best Warzone players, but they have the funniest reactions. They're entertaining, and that's their key. You know what I mean? You're not watching their stream because they're squad wiping like Symphony. It's because, you know, they got sniped and they screamed and it kind of like a XQC. It's just hilarious to watch. So I think it's about, you know, identifying the best parts about you traits wise. And then from a business point of view, I would say not just making, you know, gaming clips, make reaction clips, make, you know, game class clips. I mean, honestly, there's so much you can really do, but you just got to take the time to kind of sit down and really do it. And it's time consuming. It's a lot. And you know, you don't see a return for a long time. So it's tough to get started, but I think once you get someone kind of consistently doing, it's just natural then.
Yeah, and you know, it's a way for them to do what they would be doing without streaming. Just be streaming too. You know, like whenever they would be playing any game, it's just another way that they, you know, could possibly become what they want to become. So I think Twitch has really created a lot of different creative individuals that have set themselves apart on that platform, and I think it's really cool that that's happened. Yeah. So in business, you know, who do you look up to? Like, what are some of the things like outside of gaming?
Outside of gaming, that's a great question. I'm definitely like a big Mark Cuban fan and stuff. Like, even though he doesn't like gaming, but
I thought he did.
I'm an entrepreneur. Like earlier this year, well, due to COVID, it kind of changed. But if COVID didn't happen, like the beginning of this year, you know, I was an owner of about 8 hair salons that were franchises throughout Missouri. But then obviously due to COVID, just kind of went south, and I decided to sell them. So that kind of honestly opened the door for me to put more time into vengeful gaming. So kind of like a blessing and a curse, you could say. Because it kind of sat me down like, oh, what's the industry not getting affected by COVID? At least a ton. And then obviously you just think of gaming immediately. I still think they took obviously a hit with events and stuff like that. But you technically don't need them. You know what I mean? Not as much money obviously flow, but I just looked at gaming as kind of like alcohol, or you would look at maybe even the legal marijuana business, where there's nothing that can truly affect it. You know what I mean? It's not about it's not sickness. I mean, age is really your curse in gaming. You know what I mean?
Maybe, but I'd say it's almost a benefit. Like I see, you know, some like old people, grandmas, like playing video games, and like people love to watch that because they're like, whoa.
But that's the cool thing about the internet, man, is and that's what I think most content creators coming up struggle with, not knowing what to put out, what people are going to take to. So I always tell people all content is good content. You know what I mean? You never know what's kind of like, I guess, like with a music artist putting out songs, you never know what's going to bite. You know what I mean? Sometimes that song that you think is going to be a hit is all right. And then that kind of random song you put out is what kind of everyone, you know, catches on to. You just never know. So I always say, just put everything out there and see the results, whether it's on Instagram or YouTube, see what works for you, and then kind of continue to repeat that process.
Definitely. I agree with that. And yeah, that's what we're trying to do here today, right? Like we're just trying to create content that speaks to the gaming community, and it's just sort of informative and entertaining. But yeah.
So when you created Vengeful Gaming, if you could go back and create it from the start again, are there things you would have streamlined, changed, to make it kind of more efficient, or do you think you've kind of done everything the right way?
If I had to go back, I slowed down on streaming as like a personality. I wouldn't have done that. So when I originally started Vengeful Gaming, which was last year, I started with a partner, and we actually were starting out with an Overwatch team. Like honestly, how Vengeful Gaming is now compared to last year, this time, completely different.
Okay.
I basically rebranded everything in like February.
Okay.
But I originally had a partner that we were 50-50 kind of on. We had an Overwatch team, and they competed in kind of some small internet tournaments, and it worked out. But eventually kind of, school happens, life happens, the team split up, and then my partner just decided it's not something he was interested in anymore. So I kind of just took over 100%. And then I kind of had just like a month of, all right, so what am I really going to do with this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of when my rebranding kind of happened, January through February, of new logo, new everything. I started focusing on COD instead of Overwatch.
Yeah.
So if I had to go back, honestly, hopefully this guy don't watch.
You kind of already went back though. That's what's cool.
I probably would have just started it by myself, because I feel like I needed the extra push from somebody to a certain degree to get it going, because I didn't think I had the time to do it, because I was just so busy with salons and then other investments as well. I was like driving about 6-7 hours, 4 or 5 days a week. So I wouldn't get home from work till like 8-9 o'clock. And I was just thinking, like, how the hell am I going to run this pretty much only internet business? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And still have somewhat of a life. But then everything just kind of worked out. COVID happened, kind of halted everything. And everything worked out. And then, like I said, I recruited some people. We started doing tournaments. And the ball just kept rolling, and I just let it go. I never stopped it, and just, you don't know until you try. That's kind of how I go about it.
Yeah, you're a great commentator. First of all, thank you, by the way, for working with us.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. It's a fun thing to do. Like, if you like playing the game, it's kind of fun commentating on it.
Yeah, I really hope that we can continue to work together as our leagues develop. Sad that Modern Warfare just randomly, that's one of the weirdest things that's ever happened. They just randomly cut the dedicated servers, and nobody in the community knew why. Like, they didn't say anything.
It's very strange. Very strange. And it's actually kind of like, I don't want to say bad timing, but I guess it gives me time to focus on the Cold War. But it kind of bad timing, because we were going to start trying. So all of our tournaments have been gunfight, 2v2 and 3v3. So we were going to start trying some 5v5s and just see if, our Instagram following was interested in that. So it kind of sucked, because actually the week they announced it, the following week we were planning on doing our first like S&D 5v5 tournament that we had so many people looking forward to and been begging us for. So that was kind of a letdown. But yeah, I think it's very strange. But that's the thing with all these gaming publishers, is you're kind of at their mercy. So this is a business about adapting, and if you're not good at adapting, it is not for you. Because games could die, things change, models change. They, an update can change the whole game. One update. I mean, they're going from 5v5 to 4v4 now. Think how that changed most rosters in all these gaming orgs. Somebody's getting cut. You know what I mean? You're kind of at their mercy, and you just gotta be ready to, like all business, you just gotta be ready to adapt. And that's what honestly kind of makes it exciting for me. It's such from a business point of view, but it is kind of exciting because it changes it up, where most business, it kind of stays the same. You're just kind of thinking of some new ideas for the same model. Where this, you got different games that are constantly evolving.
So you mentioned adapting, and that's being a big part, or that's a big part of being a part of the esports industry. What are some other lessons other than having to adapt to the situation or being resilient that you've sort of picked up along the way while organizing Vengeful Gaming or just being a gamer yourself?
Patience.
Mm,
You need lots of patience.
right.
This is not an overnight thing. This is not an easy, oh, I follow these steps, everything works out thing.
Mhm.
And especially if you're investing time into individuals or money into individuals, you're banking on them being around, you're banking on them still liking the game in 6 months. There's a lot of risk reward, but at the moment, a little more risk for the most part.
Yeah.
So just when I recruit someone, I usually play games with them for about 2 to 3 weeks. I feel them out. I see how much they really like this game.
Mhm.
And yeah, I try to feel people out because I'm not trying to be an organization that just lets people go when things don't work out. I want to bring someone on and I want them to stay for a long time. I like to kind of put money, like I do in-clan tournaments once a month, where if my content creators meet the requirements, which is like streaming 12 hours a week, posting on Insta or TikTok 4 times a week, 1 or 2 YouTube videos a month. If they meet these requirements, I do little 1v1s where I give away streaming equipment to them. So I reward them because right now they get those small Twitch payouts, but I mean, you're talking what, $150 in 2 months or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not really doing much paying for like basically your internet. But I do giveaways.
Cool. Yeah.
But I just gave away a Razer mic 2 weeks ago, and then next week I'm doing we're giving away a bunch of ring lights to everybody, so everyone's got the proper lighting.
Nice.
That's a really
That
good
is really
idea.
cool. Yeah. Yeah, I like that though, because like you said, the reason why you started this gaming organization was to give people some sort of purpose. And I guess that gives people that accountability and sort of an incentive to, reach their goals. So that's a really great idea. I love that.
Yeah, definitely. So I got to ask, are you willing to give away some of your secrets about your memes? Can you share with the audience where you find some of your great memes that you share with us on your Vengeful Gaming store?
I'll tell you exactly, bro. I follow a lot of tags, a lot of Call of Duty tags and pages. And, I don't post them. I just share them on my story because especially with Instagram's algorithm, you never know when someone's going to see your post. So what I've personally found, and I could be wrong about this, I'm not a social media expert by any means, but I found that I can have more pull and more effect from my story, but you have to constantly be posting on your story for it to pop up on people's, up top. So my thing is, if I'm constantly posting, and the more they view my story, the more it pops up on their Instagram. So when I actually have important announcements, they'll see it quick. I don't have to wait and hope they see the post within the next 24 hours. So that's kind of my incentive for that.
I love your memes, man. I do. I always get a good laugh out of most of them. So
yeah, no, I try to find like good ones, not just like throwing up any one I find. But yeah, that's kind of the incentive around it. Is I just learned I get almost sometimes more reaction from a story than an actual post.
right.
I'll get maybe on like a normal post, no promotion, maybe I'll get like 50 likes or something, depending on the post. But if I like my story view, usually within a couple hours, I'll have like 400 or 500 story views.
Yeah.
And I think that power, I think it kind of goes a little under the rug. A lot of people don't think about the story just reaches someone immediately. You're not hoping the algorithm hits them. If they watch your story a lot, it's going to pop up. And most likely, if they like the content you put on your story, they're going to watch it.
Yeah.
So if you want to get something across, do a giveaway or sign up for a tournament. I'm going to post it, but I'm putting it on my story immediately. And I would say 9 times out of 10, they're going to see that story post way before the actual Instagram post.
Yeah, that's cool. What are some of the games you're playing right now besides, just for fun?
Right now I'm playing, obviously Warzone, kind of getting bored with it, but I play Valorant. And then when I'm really bored, I resort back to WoW Classic.
Nice.
But like I'm not like a raider or like I'm not the quest person. I really just play for the PvP, like the competitive element. Like
Cool.
every game I play, if there's no competitive element, I'm probably not playing it, to be honest.
That's interesting. What rank are you in Valorant?
Right now I'm gold 3. Nothing crazy.
That's good. That's good. Solid.
But like I really don't. I play with we're actually looking to get a Valorant team going, so I kind of been catching up. I was diamond for a little bit, but I lost that really quickly. But yeah. So my main focus for VG is about to be obviously Cold War, like you guys, and then I'm gonna be starting a Valorant team soon because I think Valorant's gonna take over the CS community.
Yeah, we're having a Valorant League. We're gonna launch it soon, so you'll hear you.
Let me know if you do Valorant League because that would I actually like those round by round games, 5-6 players. Like that's like Counter-Strike. I live for that. I think it's more intense. There's just more competitiveness in it. And
also, Riot does a good job about supporting the amateur community. Like they encourage it actually. So
I would agree with that.
I'm pretty
well, they're coming off League of Legends,
start.
man. So I mean, they have the experience, and that's what's kind of a beautiful thing. As you know, a company that's big and has that much cash flow, they're gonna make it work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're not gonna hesitate. Like kind of where Steam, they're kind of wish-washy and shaky about doing stuff. You don't see a lot of changes really, and if you do, it takes a year or two.
That's interesting. Yeah, Big Verb. We want to give you a chance to kind of shout out your socials. Yeah. So tell everyone where they can find you and how to
if they're interested in joining Vengeful Gaming, or I don't know how that works with applications and things like that, but yeah, let us know.
So we're Vengeful Gamers on Instagram. You'll see the VG logo. It's definitely really bright, black and red, hard to miss. If you are interested in joining us, go ahead and DM the page. I have a weird process. Like I said, I feel people out. It's not you submit an application. Oh, you have a cool KD. Congrats, you're joining. I really like to fill people out because, like I said, I'm not trying to cut people. I'm really trying to make like my team like a family where we're all in it for the long run. We're all trying to succeed and accomplish the same thing, and we all kind of work off each other. And then if you want to follow my personal page, it is BigVerb_ on Instagram, where you can find clips, link to my Twitch as well. My Twitch is BigVerb_. I stream Call of Duty, Valorant, and occasionally WoW, but pretty sure everyone hates when I do that. So I usually just play that late at night. But yeah, that's pretty much all the socials. Those are the main ones. Awesome. And VengefulGaming.com if you're interested in finding out about tournaments, merch, or learning some more about our other members as well.
Sweet.
Amazing.
Well, thank you so much again, Big Verb. It's been a pleasure interviewing you, and yeah, we really enjoyed having this conversation.
Yeah, thanks.
Absolutely, bro. I appreciate the invite.
No problem.
All right, man. Y'all have a good day.